What's up, everybody? Welcome to 1-7. Welcome to House Parties. If you're watching live or you're watching later, I'm so thankful that you're here for week 2 of Viral Jesus. We just started a new series called Viral Jesus. How did Jesus go viral, and how has he stayed viral? Y'all know when something goes viral on the internet, it's hard for it to stay viral. But Jesus went viral and he stayed viral. And what we're talking about is who is Jesus? Like, who is he really? What did Jesus say about himself? How did Jesus go about his business? And what were some of the titles that Jesus called himself? If we want to look at who Jesus is, then what better source than to go to God himself for what he says about himself? So if you watched last week, we talked about Jesus being Emmanuel and Jesus being with us and how incredible that revelation is. But this week we're going to look at Jesus being the good shepherd. Jesus being the good shepherd. And in John 10 verse 11, Jesus said this about himself. He said, "I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep." Good shepherds. He's a good shepherd. See, we have to think about how Jesus, when he was talking about being a shepherd and stuff like that, he was trying to relate to people in the time, just like how I said Jesus goes viral and I'm talking about the internet. I'm trying to relate to the time, right? I'm trying to relate to the culture right now. Jesus was doing the same thing whenever he was talking about himself being the good shepherd. But I think it's very important that we kind of break this down for what that means. So firstly, I want to look at, if Jesus is the great shepherd, then that means that we are sheep. And for us, maybe you've only lived in the city. You don't know much about sheep. You don't know much about lambs, that sort of thing. Sheep are stupid animals. They are dumb animals. See, sheep get lost easily. Sheep are dumb. Sheep are defenseless. Sheep are very stubborn. Sheep are filthy. They're gross animals. Now, I know what you girls are thinking. Oh, sheep are so cute. No, sheep are cute whenever the shepherd takes care of them. But a sheep on its own gets gross. The wool will go over its own eyes and it gets all nasty. It gets bugs all up in it. It starts to get natted. It needs a shepherd to take care of it. It needs a shepherd to groom it. It needs a shepherd to help keep it clean. So the sheep need a shepherd like we need Jesus. That's what he's trying to say. Sheep need shepherd like we need Jesus. And we need Jesus like a sheep needs shepherd. That should be a rap song, all right? Somebody make it right now. But what do shepherds do? What do shepherds do? Whenever we're looking at Jesus being the good shepherd, I think I can kind of break it down into 3 different ways like this. Number 1, shepherds provide. Shepherds provide. See, the Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lay down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. See, that was written, that we believe that was written by David in the Psalms. And I love it because it says he makes me lie down in green pastures. Now, whenever you first read that, you kind of think he makes me. I can't be made to do nothing. No. You're focusing on the wrong thing. He makes me lay down in green pastures means that he's provided green pastures for you to lay down in. Now, I know whenever we kind of think about this, it's like, what are green pastures? Well, all it's saying is that God has provided a place for you. It's what we talked about a few weeks ago, of that God has placed you where you need to be, and you will be most comfortable whenever you are in the correct spot, in the right piece of the puzzle. So God makes you lay down in green pastures. That means that he's provided green pastures. He's provided a place of comfort to you for you to abide in, right? He provides. We won't lay down. Sheep don't lay down if they're anxious. Sheep don't lay down if they're hungry, if they're looking for food. See, if they're grazing and they're eating, that means that they're not laying down. So to lay down in green pastures means that you're taken care of, you're well fed, you're nourished, you're not looking for food, you're not looking for something else. And I love this because whenever we think of how this relates to Jesus, that Jesus is saying, I am your provider. I will provide your food for you. I will provide everything that you need. You will lack nothing. So he provides. Number 2, he corrects. See, blessed is the one whom God corrects. So do not despise the discipline of the Almighty, for he wounds, but he also binds up. He injures, but his hands also heal. See, I love this because whenever we first think about this, especially as teenagers and stuff, you're like, he corrects. I don't like people that correct me. But the older that you get, you realize that you oftentimes need correction. And it goes back to your first one because he provides. So your correction is for your protection, right? Now, maybe you have a younger brother, you have a younger sister. I'm sure that you've corrected them at times where you're like, no, don't do that. Because you, even as a big brother or as a big sister, you understand that there's certain things that they don't know yet, and they need correction. Hey, don't touch that because the stove is hot. Hey, you might grab them. Even you as a big brother, as a big sister, that you are already correcting the ones that are not as wise as you yet. And so we understand that our parents do the same thing, that our pastors, our micro leaders can do the same things. So oftentimes we think of correction as a bad thing, but whenever it comes to Jesus, it's a good thing, that the sheep needed a shepherd to correct them or to guide them, right? A sheep needed a shepherd to make sure that they're not going somewhere that they would get eaten by wolves. See, we need this, and Jesus is saying, I can be that for you. See, no discipline seems pleasant at the time. But later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. That's in Hebrews. So I love it because it's, even if you think of it like your coach, maybe you play a sport, that they're like, no, that's not how you do that. That's not how you throw the ball. That's not how you shoot the ball. That's not how you tackle. You'll hurt yourself if you try to tackle somebody that way. So it's not a bad thing that whenever it comes to Jesus, that oftentimes he'll say, hey, the Holy Spirit will help remind us, hey, don't do that. Hey, maybe watch your tone whenever you're speaking to your friends and you're angry, or maybe be careful like of where you go and what you do. So he corrects. And then lastly, he protects. So he provides, he corrects, and he protects. He provides, he corrects, and he protects. He provides, he corrects, and he protects. And like I said a moment ago, when he corrects, your correction is for your protection. The last one, he protects. Psalms 23 says this, even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. I will fear no evil, for he is with me. I don't fear no evil because I'm big and tall and mighty in and of myself. I fear no evil because Jesus is with me as my shepherd. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. See, I love this because there's another story that Jesus tells where he talks about how he leaves the 99 for the one. You've heard the song Reckless Love, maybe, where it says, oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. And that song is talking about a parable where he says that he leaves the 99 for the one lost sheep. Why does he leave the group for the one that's astray? They would understand this as a shepherd would do this because if the one is by itself, it's more vulnerable to be eaten. It's more vulnerable to be harmed. It's more vulnerable to be a predator's lunch. And the group, there's a strength in the group, but whenever you go off by yourself, that can make you more vulnerable. And I think it is kind of like with us, right? Like why we're meeting together, why we have micros, that sort of thing. Because if you're by yourself, you're vulnerable. But God is saying, no, I'm willing to go out and find you. I'm willing to meet you where you're at. And I want to bring you into the group so that there can be that strength and that protection. So Jesus as a shepherd, he went viral and he stayed viral because he provides, he corrects, and he protects. At Luke 15, it says this: suppose one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them. Doesn't he leave the 99 in the open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it? And when he finds it, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders and goes home. See, that's what Jesus has done with me. That's what Jesus has done with you, that at one point you were lost and Jesus went out to go and find you. He picked you up where you were at. He met you where you were at, and he left the 99 to do it. And so Jesus went viral and he stayed viral because he is the good shepherd. He's not just a shepherd, he's a good shepherd. And we are some stupid little bad sheep. Listen, I'm so excited for us to get more into this, talk about what this means, how it breaks down in our life. I want everybody to talk tonight. Listen, let's talk about it. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.